Soon after his arrival in France, Abbey discovered the wretched nature of trench warfare. He wrote home, "Dear Mother, I've been in the trenches 4 times and come out safe. We're down the trenches for 6 days and then we get relieved for 6 days. Rest. Dear Mother, I do not like the trenches. We're going in again this week." For Abby and many like him, the trenches meant cold and mud, wet clothes and rats, the smell of death and the sight of mutilated flesh, long monotonous hours interrupted by terror. On 29th December 1915, Abby was caught in a German mine explosion. The enemy had tunneled under the trench where he was stationed. He was wounded and suffered what was then simply called shock. In today's military lexicon, it would be described as combat stress or post traumatic stress disorder. By early spring, Abby was back on the front. On 12 February 1916, the Germans again attacked his position, this time with grenades. Suffering from shock, Abbey wandered back and forth along the British lines. He was eventually arrested and charged with desertion. His last letter home is that of a boy who seems determined to underplay his situation, not to put stress on his mother at home. "Dear Mother, I'm in the trenches and I was ill, so I went out, and they took me to the prison, and I'm in a bit of a trouble now." The following month, Abby, then aged 17, became one of the 306 British soldiers executed during the Great War. Those who survived the trenches and came home brought memories that retained the power to hunt until the end of their lives. St. John Battersby was 16 when he was severely wounded at the Battle of the Somme in July 1916. Like all of the teenage officers, Lieutenant St. John Battersby had responsibilities far beyond his years, as his son Anthony recalls. "There's my dad, 16 years old, really in the war. He is responsible for 30 odd men, and his decisions may result in them dying or not dying. This was it. 3 months after he was wounded, St. John Battersby was back in France leading men in battle again. He could have opted to stay at home, but by now, the government was taking all those under 19 years of age out of the front lines. But a shortage of experienced officers meant they were allowing boys like St. John Battersby to stay on it if they wished. A sense of duty compelled St. John to return. Soon after coming back, he was blown up by a German shell and lost his left leg. Determined to continue helping the war effort, he asked for and was given an administrative job in Britain. But years later, after a fruitful life serving as a country vicar, the memories of war returned. His son Anthony remembered his father's last hours. In the hour or two before he died, he was on the Western Front yelling, "The Boche are coming. We're going over the top now." Right down deep on the ground floor of his memory was the Western Front. The man facing death was once again the boy who had cheated it so many times. Now, I want you to use the article that the link is provided as well in the course, and I want you to complete the annotation document that I've provided, okay?